In the first chapter, we discussed about how Vidura leaving Hastinapur, traveling on pilgrimage for 35 years, hearing that Lord Krishna and all the Yadavas fighting among themselves left from this earth at Prabhas. He immediately went to Vrindavan. Before going back to his Yamaloka, he wanted to have final darshan of Vrindavan. So he went there. That was the time he happened to meet Uddhava. He tightly embraced Uddhava and began to inquire about Lord Krishna, Balram, Vasudev, and all the Devaki and all the Yadavas, all the important prominent Yadavas, Ugrasena, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Satyaki, etc., etc., etc. And then he also asked about Kunti Maharani, the five Pandavas. He laments for Dhritarashtra. Then he was talking about Lord Krishna's purpose in coming to this material world, how he is helping envious people, neutral people, devotees, etc. He was, at the end, he says that, have been to all the holy places, I have bathed in all the holy rivers. Please bathe me in the holy place of Krishna Katha. So that was the final request by uh, Vidura. So now, how Uddhava responds to those inquiries of Vidura, what answers he gave, is the subject matter of the next three chapters. Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4 are response given by Uddhava onto Vidura. So the chapter 2 is about remembrance of Lord Krishna. And in the second chapter, Uddhava, his face washed in tears because of the disturbance due to prema, describe the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Braja until Rasa dance. So this is one of the big chapters, and it talks about many philosophical truths about Lord Krishna. So this is one of the important chapters, especially the first 24 verses. So let us spend some time trying to understand them. And from 25th verse onwards, the pastimes will continue. The remaining part of this chapter and the entire second chapter, third chapter, and some part of the fourth chapter talks about the pastimes of Lord Krishna in brief. So this section, which is there in the beginning of the third canto, can be seen as foreshadowing. What is coming up in the upcoming cantos is shown like a trailer in the beginning only, so that all of us, the hearers or the readers of Bhagavatam, can be hooked onto Bhagavatam, hearing through the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth cantos. And finally, what we have heard, what we have heard briefly here in these chapters will be elaborated in the 10th canto. So that was the whole intention in having these chapters in the beginning of the Bhagavatam. Okay, this was the whole canto. This was about this chapter. About 34 verses are there. So there are so many things. We will try to see slowly, step by step, what's happening. So first verse. So as we usually do, one by one, please recite after me. Sri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shuka
Sri Shuka
Uvacha
Uvacha
Iti Bhagavata Prushta
Iti Bhagavata Prushtha
Kshetravartam Priyashrayam
Kshetravartam Priyasrayam
Asoceta
Pratibhaktam Natotesa
Outkantyas Samariteshvara
Aukandhet Smariteshvara.
Yeah, please read the
Sri Sukadeva
translation.
Goswami said, translation, Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhava was asked by Vidura to speak on the message of the dearest Lord Krishna, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord.
So Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. In the previous chapter, he told about how, having seen Uddhava, Vidura tightly embraced him and began to inquire about the welfare of the Yadavas. So, what is the response of Uddhava? When Vidura asked Uddhava for news concerning Lord Krishna, Balram, and all the other prominent Yadavas, Uddhava could not reply out of pain due to separation from Lord Krishna, but he began to remember the Lord. So, later on, I think in the 5th or 6th verse, we'll get more details about this, what exactly happening here, but in the beginning only. So, Uddhava, on his way to Badrik Ashram, he was passing through Vrindavan. When he came to Vrindavan, he kind of remembering in the past, he came to Vrindavan being sent by Lord Krishna with a letter to pacify the Vrajavasis. Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, and all the elderly Vrajavasis, and especially the gopis. So during that time, Lord Krishna, Uddhava was there only for 2 months, and all the Vrajavasis, especially the gopis, took Lord Krishna to various places and described to him what are the different pastimes that Lord Krishna performed in those places with various personalities, either with gopis or gopas or cows, calves, etc. So Uddhava used to hear all those pastimes regularly. I mean, you heard them regularly for those 2 months. Now again he came to Vrindavan. He is remembering all those pastimes of Lord Krishna and also other pastimes of Lord Krishna. So remembering those pastimes, he went to trance. So while he is in trance, Vidura saw Uddhava and came tightly embraced and asking questions. So on one side, Uddhava is in trance, remembering Krishna out of pain of separation. On the other side, Vidura embraced him and asking questions, how is Krishna, how is that, how is that? So that's what it is. So in one sense, even though Vidura is asking questions, there was no response from Uddhava. He is in a stunned condition. He is in a, what you can say, he is experiencing the vision of Lord Krishna's pastime since he went into trance while remembering the pastimes of Lord Krishna, which he had for Vrajavasis, especially the gopis. So it is like that. Uddhava, fainting because of intense prema in separation from Lord Krishna, spoke without being able to reply to the questions of Vidura. By this, he shows his condition. He began to remember the Lord when his fainting was broken by the loud questions of Vidura. So as Vidura was asking question after question after question, when there was no reply from Uddhava, so Vidura loudly asked, "Yes, my dear Uddhava, are you there? Are you there? Please listen to me and answer me," like that. So by the loud questioning of Vidura, Uddhava came out of his trance. So it is like that. So it is natural when somebody loves someone so much in the absence of that person. So anything connected to that person gives them the experience of trance. So they deeply go back and cherish those pastimes with that, those activities of that person with respect to that object. So here he is in Vrindavan now. So Uddhava remembering Lord Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, which he had heard from gopis and other Vrajavasis, he went into trance. So Vidura is asking, please, what happened? Are you there? Are you there? Please answer, speak, something like that. Because of that loud calling of Vidura, Uddhava came out of his trance. So it is like that. So now, why the personality of Uddhava is indicated in the next 2 verses. What kind of personality Uddhava is? What kind of a great devotee he is? That is mentioned in the next 2 verses, which made just looking at the sight of those pastimes when took him to trance. So in that way, please repeat after me. Ya pancha ayano matra pratar ashaya yachita
Taraashaya yachita
Tannai ched rachayanyasya
Naichadrachayanyasya
saparyam balalilaya.
Paryambalalilaya. He was one who, even in his childhood, at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it.
This is the personality Uddhava. Even when he was 5 years old, a small boy, making an image of Krishna, Uddhava used to offer items of worship to it. And when his mother called him for breakfast, he did not want to eat while his worship was incomplete. As a small boy, Uddhava used to play with the dolls of Krishna, and his whole day would go in that play. Basically, he would see his parents worship Lord Narayana and he would try to imitate their worship with the small dolls. And this is his regular play. Even though his mother would call him for having prasad, either breakfast or lunch or whatever snacks, he would not come. He would say that, okay, my worship is not complete. I'll come sometime later. So this is the personality Uddhava. As a boy for 5 years, playing a boy for 5 years, he worshipped a 5-year-old form of Krishna using articles of worship he had made. Though his mother called him for breakfast, he did not want to eat since he had not completed his worship. So this is the way he was completely immersed in the pastime or play along with Lord Krishna's deities. So here, Srila Prabhupada actually writes very interesting points in this. There is a similar verse also comes in second canto, second chapter or third chapter, wherein when Sukadeva Goswami answered unto the questions of Parikshit Maharaj, and he stops. Then the sages of Naimisharanya said, no, we want to hear more and more. Both Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj were great devotees. So the discussion must have continued. How can you stop in between? Please continue speaking that more and more. There also he talks about Parikshit Maharaj. Even though he was a small boy, he would always play with the dolls of Lord Krishna. He would never waste time here and there. That was the attraction Parikshit Maharaj had for Lord Krishna. So here Uddhava also had the same attraction for Lord Krishna. So Prabhupada writes there in that purport, Prabhupada talks about himself also. He also used to play with the Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra deities, and he would perform Rathayatra during the Rathayatra time. And every day they would go to Radha Govinji temple and take part in the Aarti. And he kind of requested his father to get him Radha Govinji deities also. His father got him deities, and he would also imitate his father's worshipping his deities. So Prabhupada would say that he and his spiritual master, both Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, had a good fortune of taking birth in the devotee family, by which they can practice devotional activities from the very beginning of their childhood. As Prahlad Maharaj would say that, Kaumara Macharit Prajno Darpan Bhagavatam here. From the age of Kaumar, 1 to 5 years, one should engage in Bhagavad Dharma. So something like that. So here Srila Prabhupada writes very nice paragraph. From his very birth, Uddhava was a natural devotee of Lord Krishna, or a Nityasiddha Bhakta, a liberated soul. From natural instinct, he used to serve Lord Krishna, even in his childhood. He used to play with the dolls in the form of Krishna. He would serve the dolls by dressing, feeding, and worshipping them. And thus, he was constantly absorbed in the play of transcendental realization. These are the signs of an eternally liberated soul. An eternally liberated soul is a devotee of the Lord who never forgets him. Human life is meant for reviving one's eternal relation with the Supreme Lord. And all religious injunctions are meant for awakening this dormant instinct of the Lord, of the living entity. Smartavya Sattam Vishnu Vismartavya Najatuchit Sarva Vidhi Nishedhasyur Etayoreva Kinkara. This is they said in the Nectar of Devotion Prabhupada quote this often that Smartavya, always one should remember Vishnu and never forget him. And this is the principle that the two most important injunctions of the Vedic literature. And all other injunctions are all subservient to these two injunctions. Sarva Vidhi Nichedhasyur Yetayoreva Kinkara. The sooner this awakening is brought about, the quicker the mission of human life is successful. In a good family of devotee, the child gets the opportunity to serve the Lord in many ways. A soul who is already advanced in devotional service had the opportunity to take birth in such an enlightened family. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 6.41. Suchinam Srimatam Geye Yoga Prashtobhi Jayate. Even though who had practicing sadhana, who did not complete it, if they die untimely, they will take birth in the family of Suchinam or Srimatam. Suchinam is Brahmana, Srimatam is Vaishya, the wealthy Vaishyas. Even the fallen devotee get the opportunity to take birth in the family of a well-situated Brahmana or in a rich, well-to-do mercantile family. In both these families, there is a good opportunity to revive one's sense of God consciousness automatically. Because particularly in these families, the worship of Lord Krishna is regularly performed and the child gets the opportunity to imitate the process of worship called Archana. So, having the good fortune of taking birth in the family of devotees enables one to practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of their life. So that is what Srila Prabhupada mentions, taking a clue from Uddhava. So it is like that. Okay. So that was the state of consciousness of Uddhava when he was small boy. Then what about the state of consciousness when he grew up? That is mentioned in next verse. Text number 3. Sakatam sevaya tasya
Sakatam sevaya tasya
kalena jarasamgata
kalena jarasamgata
prushto vartam prati bruyat
Krishto vartam pradibhruyat
bhartuhu padau anusmaran.
Bhartu padau anushmaran. Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old age that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him.
How could Uddhava, who did not age because of his service to Supreme Lord, when asked by Vidura for news about Krishna, reply, since he began immediately thinking of the Lord's lotus feet? He's telling that kind of Uddhava who was always immersed in play or in the imitation worship of the doll deities of Lord Krishna, and how could he give up remembering and thinking about the Supreme Lord, though apparently he seems to be grown up and become old? So that's the whole thing. So his thinking never wavered. That is the basic thing. Even though years passed, he did not age, being under the influence of service to Lord Krishna. He continuously served Lord Krishna. In the previous week also we were discussing that there are two personalities who always accompany Lord Krishna. Wherever Lord Krishna went, whatever he would do, both Uddhava and Satyaki, they would never stay without Lord Krishna. They would always with Lord Krishna only throughout the day. Another meaning is under the influence of service performed at the proper time, he did not age. Because he was completely engaged in service of Supreme Lord, he did not age. On the other hand, when there is no service, one ages very quickly. This can be seen in Vrindavan, not Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri. Like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, Gadadhar Pandit had a good fortune of associating Chaitanya. Throughout the daytime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to Tota Gopinath and Gadadhar Pandit would recite Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 4 or Canto 7, the Dhruva Maharaj pastimes or Prahlad Maharaj pastimes, both would sit and relish these pastimes again and again every day. But eventually, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared, having entered into Tota Gopinath, and then Gadadhar Pandits do not want to continue anymore. So it is said that he was previously very nicely, jubilantly engaged in service of Tota Gopinath. But after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance, in due course of time, he became old. He could not even get up to serve his duties. But in no time, he also left his body. So it's like that. So when Lord is not there, devotees do not want to live anymore. So it is like this. The word Kale means that Uddhava was influenced by time. It would contradict the statement Tatra Pravayasopi Asan Yuvanoti Balaujasaha. Even the most elderly inhabitants of the city appeared youthful, full of strength and vitality. So this is stated in the later 10th canto. So it is said that all the Dwarakavasis are always looked very youthful because they are constantly engaged in service of the Supreme Lord. So thus, in these two verses, there is a description about what is the state of consciousness even from the very beginning of his childhood till today. So Uddhava is constantly immersed in thinking about Lord Krishna. That is his constitutional nature. So like that. Able to follow Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So fourth verse, someone please repeat after me. Samuhurtam abhutushnim
Samhurtam abhutushne
Krishnangri Sudayabrusham
Krishnangri Sudayabrusham
Tivrena Bhakti Yogena
Tivrena Bhakti Yogena
Nigama Sadhu Nirvrata.
Nigama Sadhu Nivrata. For a moment he remained dead silent, and his body did not move. He became absorbed in the nectar of remembering the Lord's lotus feet in devotional ecstasy, and he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy.
Prabhuji, you please write your name completely. Last time both you and the other Prabhuji, Jayakishan Maurya, only wrote Jayakishan. It becomes difficult to understand who is attending, who is absent.
Oh, okay,
So
sure, Prabhu.
you can put at least L, Jayakishan L, so that I can understand it's you.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. So it is said that, so when he went to Vrindavan, he was in trance. So when Vidura shouted loudly, Uddhava, where are you? Where are you? Came out of the trance. And he heard some of the questions of Vidura. The questions are all connected to Lord Krishna. Hearing those questions, again he went to trance. And that is being indicated in this. So seeing the places, pastime places of Vrindavan, he went to trance. Hearing about Krishna, again he went to trance. That is the state of Uddhava. For 48 minutes, he remained silent. After Vidura asked all the questions, he became quiet. He was expecting that Uddhava will respond, but he went to trance. The trance continued for one full muhurta, 48 minutes. Since he had become peaceful and blissful, being submerged in the sweetness of the Krishna's lotus feet, which arose from prema caused by intense separation. So having heard all the questions of Vidura, so in connection to those questions, he remembered all the pastimes of Lord Krishna and went to trance. In trance, he was there for 48 minutes. This verse describes his remembrance of Lord Krishna. Uddhava's remembrance of Lord Krishna, because he was hearing about Lord Krishna in the form of questions from Vidura. When he recovered from fainting by the questions of Vidura, Uddhava exclaimed, "Oh, I have been separated from my master." So when Uddhava, looking into different fasting places of Vrindavan, he was in trance. When Uddhava shouting brought him back, he was thinking that I have been separated from my master. And then he heard about Krishna and his associates of Dwaraka from Vidura about their welfare. Then again he went to trance. There he remained silent for 48 minutes because of relishing the nectar of Krishna's beauty, attained by meeting the Lord directly through remembrance of his lotus feet. He became submerged in the sweetness of prema, which appeared when the pain of separation from Krishna increased. This made him forget his previous pain. He remained in this blissful state. As he was walking from Prabhas to Vrindavan, he was in pain. When he came to Vrindavan, remembering the pastime places of Krishna, he went into trance. He was experiencing bliss. When Vidura called him back to normal state of consciousness, into this material consciousness, he again feeling pain. Why did you brought me back? I was experiencing bliss in the union of Lord Krishna. Then when he heard the inquiries of Vidura, which are all about Krishna, he again went into trance, remembering the past and connected to it. He was experiencing bliss. So in that bliss, he was there for one full muhurta. And Vidura is expecting some answer. He's waiting. He asked the questions, and the person who's supposed to answer went into trance, and the other person is waiting. Will he come out? Will he come out and answer me? This time, Vidura did not disturb him from the trance. So previously, he disturbed Vidura out of eagerness to hear about Krishna. But this time he understood that, okay, no. Uddhava is actually in spiritual trance. He did not disturb. So that is mentioned in the next verse. Vidura understood Uddhava is in spiritual trance. So he did not want to disturb him. Pulako bin sarvango
Pulako binna sarvango
punchan meeladrisha sucha
punchan meladrishasu cha
purnarto lakshitastena
purnartho lakshitasena
sneha prasara samplutaha.
neha prasara samplutaha. It was so observed by Vidura that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy, and he was trying to wipe away the tears of separation from his eyes. Thus, Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord.
So his whole body erupted in goosebumps. So basically, the air standing on the end, and tears were flowing. The eyes are producing the tears from his closed eyes. Even though eyes are closed, but so many tears are coming out. Vidura understood that Uddhava had reached the perfection of prema, Purna Artha. Uddhava then became inundated in Sneha. Sneha Prasara Samplutaha. So, by seeing the symptoms of ecstasy, prema, Vidura understood. Okay. He is not in the external consciousness. It went deeply into spiritual consciousness. So, this verse describes the symptoms of Uddhava's bliss. Pulakodbinna Sarvanga means that his whole body was filled with sprouting hairs, like sprouts of a tree or shrubs. He also became stunned. Tears flowed from his closed eyes. So these are various symptoms of bhava and prema. If you remember NOD, in the later part of the book, think chapter 17 and 18 and 19 talks about the symptoms of a devotee who is in bhava and prema. So these are some of the symptoms. So looking at these symptoms, that hairs are standing on the hand and the whole body is filled with the sprouting hairs, and he became stunned, mugdha ho gaya, and the tears are coming out of his eyes. Then Vidura understood that Uddhava had become successful because he had attained prema, as indicated by his symptoms. And because of that prema, he was absorbed completely in melting of his heart for the Supreme Lord. It is like that. First, he was absorbed in prema, and then he was absorbed in sneha. The next stage of pure love, sneha is more intense than prema. So there are like a different levels even within prema also. Prema, sneha, mana, pranaya, mahapranaya, bhava, mahabhava, something like that. There are multiple stages within the prema state also. Those details are also mentioned in NOD, even I don't remember. But so here at least the Vidura entered into the next level of prema. Second stage of prema known as sneha. Sneha, prasara, sampurna. So Vidura understood this. Uddhava is not in external consciousness. He went into deep trance of loving sentiments from the Supreme Lord. Thus, he did not disturb him. He waited so that Uddhava can come into normal consciousness on his own. He did not disturb him. Previously disturbed him, but this time he did not disturb him. So it is like that. So then, after experiencing that sneha, prashara, sampruta for one murta, one intending statement comes in the later part of this notes that it is Lord Krishna told him. So my dear Uddhava, please go back. Vidura is waiting for you to give answers. He's waiting for a long time. So please go back and answer him. Then with Uddhava came back to the external consciousness and began responding to Vidura. So that is indicated in this verse number 6. Shanakair
Shanakairbhagavalokan
Nrulokam Punaragata
नृलोकं पुनरागतः
Vimbrujya Netra Viduram
विसृज्य नेत्रविदुरम्
Pritya Uddhava Usmayan.
प्रीत्या उद्धवा उत्स्मयन्. The great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane, and wiping his eyes, he awakened his reminiscence of the past and
So Shanakair Nrulokam Agataha Punaha. Gradually returned to this world, gradually returned into this external mortal world from the Lord's abode, from Bhagavat Loka, and rubbing his eyes, Uddhava, amazed at the Lord's skill in pastimes, spoke to Vidura with affection. From the world of the Lord, Bhagavat Loka, from Dwaraka, filled with eternal pastimes, attained by his intense prema, he returned to external consciousness, Nrulokam, the consciousness of the Nrulokam, again, attracted by the questions of Vidura. A second time, his trance was broken. First time Vidura broke his trance. Second time Lord himself broke his trance. Lord only sent him back to this Nrulokam. He became amazed by remembering the skill with which the Supreme Lord performed acts such as relieving the world of its burden. So how Lord Krishna appeared and performed various pastimes and also relieved the burden of the earth, which was one of the question of Vidura. So that the overall kind of went through all the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Or he burst into a smile by the soothing advice given by the Lord, who had said, "Oh Uddhava, please return to answer the questions of Vidura." So Lord himself broke his trance by sending him to external consciousness in order to answer Vidura, who was waiting for last 1 hour, more than a murta. So like that. So now, starting from 7th verse onwards, Uddhava is going to answer all the questions asked by Vidura. So any questions till now? You are able to follow? These verses talk about the greatness of Uddhava.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, Prabhuji, you mentioned that both Uddhava and Satyaki always accompanied Krishna. Why we don't hear about Satyaki like happens to others? But for Satyaki, we
Your voice is breaking. I could not follow your question completely. Can you repeat, Prabhuji?
Yes, because
like
somewhere else Gaurang Prabhu is also giving a lecture, which I can hear along with yours. Prabhuji. Someone is on. I would request devotees to keep them on.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry. Yes, Prabhuji. Please continue.
You mentioned that both Uddhava and Satyaki always accompanied Krishna,
Mhm.
but we don't hear much about Satyaki.
Mhm.
So what is the reason? Like why Acharyas and even other places Satyaki's activities and what how is to serve Lord is not mentioned.
No, you read Mahabharata. It is there. In Mahabharata, you will get to know about Satyaki in great detail. Not in summary version of Mahabharata, but detailed Mahabharata. Shloka by shloka. He comes. His details are explained in that section. Even Bhagavatam also, many places, his name is mentioned. May not be so many activities. See, even when we say that both of them are always accompanying Krishna, Uddhava has his own place. He has a little bit. See, Uddhava is not more like a warrior. He is like a minister kind of person. But Satyaki is like a warrior. He is busy with other war activities also. Whenever Krishna would go on war, Satyaki is always there with him. But not Uddhava. Uddhava would not take part in the wars and all. As I understand. So it's like that. But we see that whenever Krishna would go to Hastinapur, both would accompany him. Bhagavatam only talks about it many times. First canto, the 10th chapter, I suppose, when Krishna was leaving from Hastinapur to Dwarka, the both of them are holding chamara and umbrella on the same chariot of Krishna. So like that. And 10th canto also it is mentioned when Lord Krishna went for Raju sacrifice, both of them accompanied Krishna to Indraprastha. So like that. Here and there that is mentioned. Because Uddhava is being introduced in the 3rd canto here and also in the 11th canto Uddhava Gita. So Uddhava's name is heard many times among our devotee community. But Satyaki is more into the war aspect of Krishna, for which you need to read Mahabharata. Then you will see. In Mahabharata, Satyaki's role is more than Uddhava's role. It's like that. Any other devotees? Okay, we'll continue. Uddhava Uvacha.
Uddhava Uvacha.
Krishna Dyumani Nimloche.
Krishnādyumani namloche.
Girneshu Ajagare Naha.
Girneshu ajagareneha.
Kim Nuna Kushalam Bruyam.
Kim nuna kushalam bruyam.
Gatasrishu Gureshah.
Gata Shreshu Gruheshaham. Sri Uddhava said, My dear Vidura, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna has set, and our houses has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare?
So the first question asked by Vidura is about the welfare of Krishna and Balram, Purana Purusha. So he is giving that answer only at the beginning. Since Lord Krishna has disappeared like the sun, Krishna Dyumani Nimloche, how can I describe the condition of us, his friends, the Dwarkavasis, devoid of splendor, whose houses have been swallowed by the snake of lamentation? When Krishna is not there, then what is there to talk about the Dwarkavasis? Everyone is swallowed by the python of lamentation. So we don't have anything to say about anyone in Dwaraka, whether it is about Vasudeva or Devaki or uh, Jara, what is that, Ugrasena, and all other personalities of Dwarka. So in one step he says that. So in the Prabhupada and all the previous acharyas, they go into philosophical aspect. Why Krishna is compared to sun? Why Krishna's disappearance is compared to the setting of the sun? What is the significance of that? So that aspect is elaborated in the purport. First, Uddhava brings out the philosophical conclusion in order to pacify Vidura, who was overcome with grief. By his own external appearance, he conveys the unfortunate condition of all those afflicted by the pain of separation from Lord Krishna. So Uddhava himself is kind of a disoriented person. He is not behaving normally. When Vidura came, he did not even see Vidura and kind of reciprocated with him. He was in trance. When Vidura shouted, he came to external consciousness. He heard as if a pale person. Then again he went to trance. He came back, and his appearance is all like a fully lamentation, a state of lamentation. That itself shows the state of Dwarkavasis, out of separation from Lord Krishna. So when Lord Krishna, like the sun, has set, how can I speak of the welfare of us, his friends, the Dwarkavasis, in houses swallowed by the darkness of lamentation, taking the form of huge snake? So all of Dwarkavasis who are situated in our respective houses, when Krishna left, all our houses are swallowed by the python of darkness. So there is nothing to talk about our welfare since Krishna himself is not there. So like that, he's telling. One sees the setting of the sun along with his associates and his chariot within the zodiac. In other places, people see the sun rising. So this is the philosophical answer. When the Indians see that sun is setting, the Americans see sun is rising. And at positions of forenoon and noon, and other people in the world, some people see the sun is in the noon time, sun is at midnight, like that. Different people all over on the earth globe. At the same time, they experience different states of sun. So if in India, if we are observing sun is setting, in Africa, they see sun is at noon. In America, they see sun is rising. In Japan, they see sun is at midnight. It's like that. So similarly, when Lord Krishna, who immerses the universe in his feet pastimes, is seen to disappear from one universe along with his devotees in Gokula, Mathura, and Dwaraka. He is seen to appear in another universe, performing pastimes such as birth, rasa dance, killing Kamsa, and marrying Rukmini, etc. etc. So just like while sun is setting in India, is rising in America. Similarly, when Lord complete performs pastimes here, as soon as the pastime is over, he will again perform the same pastime in some other universe. Thus, his pastimes are eternally happening in one of the thousands of universes. So that's why the sun is compared, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna pastimes are compared to the sun. So sun is always there in the sky, but some of us on the surface of the earth will see him at some point of time, and the same time others won't see. And sometime later we don't see and they will get to see. It's like that. The rising, noontime and setting of the sun are not actually different forms of the sun, since they are appearances only. Sun, within the sun globe, sun is same. He does not change any of his form. But we experience him morning time rising and afternoon time shining brightly and evening time setting. However, Lord Krishna's birth and other actions are not apparent, but they are real, since they are all eternal. This is the difference. So even in that analogy comparing Lord Krishna with sun, so there is a little difference. The sun is same, but we see him as rising and growing up and becoming bigger and bigger at noon and again setting, becoming smaller and setting at evening. But Lord Krishna, but from sun's point of view, is always same. But in the case of Lord Krishna's pastimes, he's actually taking birth and growing, marrying and begetting children and staying some time and then eventually going through other later pastimes of his life. So it is like that. It has been shown that all of the pastimes of the Lord are eternal in the first canto. The same thing will also be established in the 10th canto with the proof to show that how Lord Krishna's pastimes are eternal. They are Nitya Leela. They are not temporary Leela like ours. We take birth and live for some time and die, being forced by karma. But Lord Krishna is not like that. Lord Krishna's pastimes are eternal. They are happening here, sometime they will happen in another universe. Even in this universe, also in Gokul, Madura, and Dwarka, the pastimes will continue in a manifest form. So it's like that. Just as in a country affected by the setting sun, darkness appears. So now, what will be the effect of Lord's appearance and disappearance upon the rest of the community? It is explained by explaining the sun's rising and setting, just to show comparison. So just as in a country affected by the setting of sun, when sun sets, there will be darkness, there will be night. In the night, what happens? The lotuses wither. Throughout the day, the lotuses are blooming. When sun sets, they wither. The Chakravaka birds lament. The Chakravaka birds, which are jubilant during the daytime, they lament and go to their nest and take rest. But on the other hand, the thieves, dacoits, rakshasas, and ghosts become joyful because they are nishacharas. They become active in the night time only. Similarly, when Lord Krishna disappears from one universe, the world is devoured by the snake of lamentation. The righteous people wither, the devotees lament, the devatas in charge of religion become unsettled, and the irreligious people rejoice. This is what happens when the Supreme Lord leaves this world. So devotees lament and non-devotees become jubilant. So like that. This is indicated by Uddhava's statement about being devoured by the snake. So in a philosophical way, Lord's appearance and disappearance and the effect upon his associates when Lord is present and absent are being indicated with the analogy of sun rising and setting. That's it. And then like that, it further continues many things step by step in order to alleviate the lamentation of Vidura. Then in the next verse, having shown the unfortunate condition of the superior persons of this world without the Lord, that is about Dwarkavasis. So the previous verse talks about the Dwarkavasis. Out of bewilderment of prema, Uddhava criticizes those persons from seeing his own awareness of the Lord's great powers, which has suddenly arisen from his feelings of great separation, and not seeing that awareness of the Lord's powers in the Lord's associates in Dwaraka. So here both Vidura and Uddhava, by comparing Lord Krishna with the sun, they are indicating the greatness of Lord Krishna. And they are telling that though Lord Krishna used to live with Dwarakavasis, but Dwarakavasis never understood the greatness of Lord Krishna because of excessive love for Lord Krishna. They were not constantly in awareness of Lord Krishna's greatness. So like that, he is telling how unfortunate are the Dwarkavasis. Like that he will be saying in the couple of verses next. So let us continue. Please repeat after me, one of you. Durbhagobata lokoyam
दुर्भागोऽवत लोक अयम्
Yadavo nitaram api
यादवो नितराम् अपि
ye samvasanto na vidur
ये संवसन्तो न विदुर्
harim mina yivodupam.
हरिं मीना इवोदुपम्. Translation: This universe, with all its planets, is most unfortunate, and even more unfortunate are the members of Yadu dynasty, because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead, and many and more than the fish could identify the moon. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. The inhabitants of Dwaraka and the Yadavas, more so, who live together with the Lord, have a close relationship with the Lord. Since they do not know that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, they are most unfortunate. How? Just as a fish in the milk ocean do not recognize the greatness of the moon situated in the water and think of it as another fish. So, just like me, all the Yadavas and Dwarakavasis also lived with Lord Krishna for the last many years. But unfortunately, none of the Dwarakavasis have understood the greatness of Lord Krishna. Instead, they treated Krishna to be one among them. How? Just like in an ocean, there are a lot of fishes. In the night time, there is a reflection of the moon within that ocean. When they saw the reflection of the moon within that ocean, they thought that, hey, there is a beautiful fish whose body is round and brightly shining. This seems to be a special fish with a lot of brightness. So like that only other fishes treat the moon's reflection. So this is how the Dwaraka Vasis treated Lord Krishna, treating him as special Dwaraka Vasi with a lot of charm, beauty and cleverness, etc. So that's how he is telling that Dwaraka Vasis are unfortunate people. They did not understand the greatness of Lord Krishna. So like that. These inhabitants of Dwaraka who appear in my heart are unfortunate, about whom I am thinking currently, because you asked about all Dwaraka Vasis. They are actually the unfortunate people. Though they have very close relationship to Lord Krishna by family ties. Though they live with him, they do not know the Lord, being bewildered by his sweetness. They were all overpowered by the sweet and loving relationship with the Lord Krishna. Thus, they completely forgot about Krishna to be the Supreme Lord. But I am unfortunate because though I know Krishna as Lord, I did not live together with him at this moment. The other Dwaraka Vasis, even after Lord Krishna wound up his Leela, they all entered into Aprakat Leela. They are still with Krishna only. Even though they don't know that Krishna is the Lord, they are with Krishna. But I and you know about the Lord, but we are not with Krishna. Who is more unfortunate? I am saying that the Dwarakavas are unfortunate because they did not understand Krishna. But on the other hand, even though they did not understand Krishna, but they are with him right now. But I am not with them. I am the most unfortunate person. That he will say indirectly. So, but still, he is criticizing them, saying that It is like the fish in the water who, on seeing the moon, which is situated in the milk ocean, think of it as another fish like them, but very attractive. They do not recognize the moon as a devata with rays of nectar, who is Lord of the night. So when they see the reflection of the moon inside the ocean where the fishes are there, they will think that okay, hey, this fish has come from milk ocean, that's why it has attained the white color and it's white, brightly shining. So it is special fish, but still they see it as a fish only. They will not see him as the devata who has rays of nectar with the Lord of Night. So Nishapati. So like that. Similarly, the Yadavas recognize the Lord Krishna's sweetness and not his great powers. Saddened by that thought, I call them unfortunate. So just like moon is so attractive, the Dwarkavasis are also attracted to the charming nature of Krishna, but not his greatness, not seeing him as the supreme Lord, Lord of the creation, etc. Actually, however, they have great fortune because it will be explained in the 10th canto that those who are aware of Lord Krishna's sweetness are greater than those who are aware of his powers. So here it comes the state of consciousness of the Vrajavasis. Even Vrajavasis are in higher state of consciousness. They even not even know that Krishna is God. At least Dwarkavasis, they know, but that is overpowered by Lord's excessive friendly dealings. But Vrajavasis does not even know. So that's how it is said. Na Vidu is in the present sense is to indicate to Vidura that the Yadavas about whom Vidura is inquiring are eternal associates of the Lord and are even now performing pastimes with the Lord because they all also entered into Aparkata Lila of Krishna in the Dwaraka, in the Prakata form. They are performing pastimes with Lord Krishna. If they are not presently living with the Lord, they would not know him at all. So he is telling that they know about the Lord and they are also close related to Lord in close relationship like Sakya, Vasalya, it's that those bhavas. That's why they are still continuing with the Lord. But Uddhava says they do not know him at the Lord while living him in the present. So it is like a kind of Atishayokti or a praise and criticism. So something like that. However, you who ask the questions and I who am asked or who is answering, being deprived of living with the Lord, since we remain while the other Yadavas disappear to join Aprakata pastimes, we alone are the most unfortunate and we alone should lament for our state of condition. Though I am saying that Yadavas are most lamentable, but they are not most lamentable. They are fortunate. They disappeared along with the Lord and they joined the Lord in the Aprakata Lila. They are performing in the Lord. But we, on the other hand, having the knowledge of the Lord, remain here only. What is the use of knowing the Lord? So like that. So this is how Uddhava exhibits his lamentation by criticizing, by praising through criticism, by praising the Yadavas through criticism. So it's like that. Either instead of criticizing himself, he's criticizing them in disguise. So like that. Able to follow, Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Ah,
Hare Krishna.
one by one, one by one.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ah,
We have read before also, no, it is not possible to understand the Lord totally, tattvataha. So this is one of the thing ki one set of people, they understand him as devotees, they just understand him, they know him as the Supreme Lord, and the rest who are his associates, they know him as they are his eternal associates. Means in totality, nobody can understand him.
so
One of
it's
his
not, it is not like that. It's not like that. These Dwaraka Vasis and Brajavasis, they know about the Lord completely, but they have their knowledge is covered by the love of the Supreme Lord. Because they know about his Aishwarya, they have entered into Madhurya state of consciousness. But that Aishwarya is covered up. It is like that. So we cannot equate them to us. Okay, we also don't know about the Lord. They also don't know about that. No one knows the Lord. Not like that.
Not about
They
us. Not about us, Prabhuji.
no, no,
Not about us.
I'm just stating, not that you said. I'm just stating that we cannot compare them with us. They know, but their knowledge is covered by Yogamaya, so that they can deal with Lord Krishna like his family members. So that is Lord's desire.
Okay.
It is like that. Yeah, other devotees wanted to say something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, that Brajvasi's knowledge, that is transcendental ignorance, no? And what about Dwarkavasis?
They also same.
Same, transcendental ignorance.
Okay. Some Prabhuji was saying something. Okay. If nothing is to say, we'll go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just now, Jesse Mataji said that transcendental ignorance. So in we said ignorance means andhakar.
नहीं बाबा, नहीं एक्चुअली है ना, ये इंग्लिश का प्रॉब्लम है. वो ट्रांसमेंटल इग्नोरेंस नहीं, कुछ नहीं. देयर नॉलेज इज कवर्ड बाय योगा माया समावृता, so that they can deal with the Lord in as a family member. That is Lord's desire only. Accordingly, it takes place. This English, all this what you can say, these are all different types of vocabulary. So just के भगवान का इच्छा के अनुसार उनका ज्ञान आवृत हो गया, ताकि वो भगवान के साथ प्रेममय लीला में भाग ले सकते. So it is like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Like you mentioned that this all the Dwarkavasi went to spiritual world. So
No. Wait, Baba. We were discussing that they have entered into Aprakata Leela. You understand what is Aprakata Leela? इधर भी लिखा है ना, Aprakata pastimes.
Aprakata pastime in this world.
Here only. All the Dwarkavasis are here only, in the Dwarka only. In the Aprakata Dwaraka. The Vrajavasis are there in the Aprakata Vrajalila only. Say it is like this. They will be here also. They will be in the spiritual world also. They will be in some other universe where Lord is performing the pastimes. They will be there also. Are you getting? They're everywhere.
Wherever this Lord is associates around.
Yes. Perfect.
And so, did all the Dwarkavasi went, because I heard that some of the Dwarkavasi was not so pure devotee, and they were devatas or like, so they were not able to like.
Devatas will go to Swarga. The eternal Dwarkavasis who came from spiritual world, they'll be with Krishna. से जो लोग जहां से आया वहां पे जाएंगे.
Okay.
It is like that.
Isn't that every time the Lord comes, some of the sadhakas also do take part in this lila, and they also kind of perfect their devotional service.
Yes. They will go with the Lord. But when Devatas come down to take part in the Leela of the Lord, once the Leela is over, they will go back to Swarga and resume their services. They will continue their services. And the Nityasiddha Bhaktas who came from spiritual world, they will be with the Lord. Wherever the Lord is there, they will be with them. But some Sadhaka Bhaktas who perfected their lives, when they join Lord's pastime, and from there on, they continue to stay with the Lord. So it is like that.
And this Devatas, about after completing their duties in Swarga, do they also go the spiritual world?
Yes. The Devatas, after completing their duties for one Manvantara period, they will go back to spiritual world.
Because at the end, everyone goes to spiritual.
They don't put the condition that everyone, the devatas who desire to go back to spiritual world, they'll go.
Okay. Like there are there chances that even though they take part in Lord's Leela, but still they were not able to uh, like perfect their life.
See, it is not like that, Ruji. See, by becoming devata only, the almost perfect. So they are serving the Lord for long tenure, according to acharyas. Unless until if they don't want to stay back in this material world, they are qualified to go back to spiritual world. Happy, this is a general statement. There could be some exceptions on the positive side also. There could be some exceptions on the negative side also. So I don't know all those details. You can ask someone else who will go, who will not go. But Acharya said that all the principal devatas generally, after completing their seva for the Lord, they will go back to Godhead. Unless until they want to stay back in this material world.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
In the Devaloka, there are two categories of devatas. Those devatas who are assigned some responsibility, who will stay there for 1 month or a time period, they will go back to Godhead. But others from Bharata Varsha, who by performing pious activities, who go to Swargaloka as a result of their punya, they will only stay as long as their punya allows them to stay. They will not have any responsibility there. They will only enjoy. When their punya is over, they'll come down to again Martyaloka. Tetam Bhuktva Sargalokam Vishalam Shine Punne Martyalokam Vishanti. Though they are staying in Swargaloka, though we may call them devatas, they are not the principal devatas. So they will come back. Or some among them, there could be some fortunate people. They might continue practicing bhakti even having gone to Swargaloka, and from there they will move forward. So that is also possible.
Even the principal devatas, like most of them, they go to spiritual world.
Yes, Prabhu. इतना लंबा समय सेवा कर रहे, 1 मनवंतरा काल सेवा कर रहे. So Acharya say that they will go back. Unless until they don't want to. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
The inhabitants of Dwaraka were not devoid of knowledge of the Lord's powers, as were the inhabitants of Gokula, who experienced only sweetness in pure prema. How then can Uddhava say that they did not know the Lord's powers? The next verse explains. Like one of you asked the question, how can we say that Vrajavasis and Dwarkavasis can be same? We always heard that Vrajavasis does not remember anything about the Lord, but Dwarkavasis they know he is Lord. How can we equate both? So now in the next verse, Uddhava answers how both of them are different. Ingitagnya Puruprauda
Ingitatnya Puruprauda
Eka Ramascha Shashvata
Ekaramascha Shashvataha
Shashvatam Rushabam Sarve
Shashvatam Vrishabham Sarve
Bhutavasam Amamsata.
Bhutavasam Amamshata. The Yadus were all experienced devotees, learned and expert in psychic study. Over and above this, they were always with the Lord in all kinds of relaxations, and still they were only able to know Him as one supreme who dwells everywhere.
What kind of knowledge do the Dwarkavasis have about Lord Krishna? The Yadavas, knowing the inner heart of the Lord, being very intelligent, enjoy individually with him, knew him at the best among them, and knew him as Paramatma. What Dwarkavasis know about the Lord is, the Lord is the Paramatma, who is situated in the heart of every Yadava, every Dwarkavasi. So Lord understands about them. So Mataji, please mute. So they understands about the Supreme Lord, what is there in his mind, and they also understand about Supreme Lord that he being situated as Paramatma within our heart, he also understands about us completely. This is the knowledge they have about Lord Krishna. Because they had great intelligence, they knew what was in Krishna's heart, what to speak of the sweetness of his form. In spite of that, they did not know his powers. They enjoyed with him individually in sitting, resting, and other activities. So here, they did not know his powers means actually they know about his powers, but that knowledge is covered by Yogamaya. In this particular lila, that knowledge is not required. If they are always in that knowledge, they cannot deal with Lord Krishna like the family members. That's why Lord himself covered their knowledge of his powers. So like that. They thought of Lord Krishna, who was present as their eternal master and the best person among themselves, as Paramatma in all beings, Bhutavasam. The Shruti says, Eko Deva Sarva Bhuteshu Gudaha. The one Lord is residing within all beings as Paramatma in a secret place within the core of the heart. But the Dwaraka did not know Krishna as Swayam Bhagavan, as the source of Lord Narayana. That is the meaning when Uddhava said that they did not know the Lord. Both in Dwaraka and Vrindavan, in their respective homes, every day they would worship Lord Narayana. For them, Narayana is the Supreme Lord, and Krishna is their darling son and family member and relatives, friend, master, like that. So their knowledge about Lord Krishna, the Swayam Bhagavan, the source of Lord Narayana, is covered by the Leela Shakti of Lord Krishna. So that Lord can experience the familial relationship with all these wonderful devotees. That is the understanding. In this world, it is proper that some know Krishna as Bhagavan and some do not. That is not criticized. Criticized are those who are intermediate, those who have half knowledge of Krishna as Bhagavan. So it is like that. Of course, this particular statement is further explained in the next verse in more details, but this is the state of Dwarkavasis. So Dwaraka, of course, Vrajavasis even does not even consider Krishna to be Paramatma, but here Dwarkavasis are considered Krishna to be Paramatma. He understands their heart and they are able to understand his heart so that their dealings are very closely connected to each other. So in that way. But Lord
Hare Krishna
Aishwarya,
Prabhuji,
yes, Mataji.
that in Vrindavan, Krishna was as only a child, no, up to 11 years like that he was there. And he was
Yes.
not a Dwarakatish or he was not a king or anything. He's just a cowhead boy for them, friend like that. And he saved them from all asuras with all that like that.
Yes.
But Dwaraka was for them, he is the king and he is in different angle they saw him, no, Krishna.
Okay.
But Brajvasis, they saw him only as a child and a cowhead boy.
Okay. So
Still, they both have the same knowledge about Krishna, no?
same 9. It is a difference, na? That's what we are discussing. The Vrajavasis does not even understand that Krishna is Paramatma. But here the Dwarkavasis know they are treating Krishna to be Paramatma. He is like Paramatma in situate as if he's situated within our heart. He knows everything about us and he responds accordingly without being asked. And Krishna understands what we want and he provides everything to us. And we are also able to know what is there in the Krishna's heart. So that understanding they have. So it is like that. So Krishna being Swayam Bhagavan, source of Narayana and all, that knowledge is covered by Leela potency of the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sorry to disturb. Prabhuji, what is, you said something about half knowledge. Can you please repeat it? Krishna
No, that's
as
what.
Bhagavan
This
is
half
acceptable.
knowledge, this comes in the next verse. It is like connection to the next verse.
Okay.
In this world, it is proper that some know Krishna as Bhagavan and some do not know Krishna as Bhagavan. There are two category people who do not know Krishna as Bhagavan. One category is Rajavasis and Dwarkavasis. Other category is the conditioned souls. They also do not know Krishna as Bhagavan. So that is expected in this world. These different current type people will be there. But that is not criticized. Criticized are those who are intermediate, who know little knowledge, who don't know complete knowledge. They are criticized. Why and how will be mentioned in the next verse. Those devotees living in the material world suffer in separation from the Lord, and the Yadavas eternally in his association are happy in his association. These two types persons are fortunate since they have devotion. So even in separation, they are thinking about the Lord. Even in union, they are thinking of the Lord. That's why both of them have devotion. Others, not being devotees, have hellish existence. That is explained in the current verse. Text number 10. Devassa Mayaya Sprushta
देवस्य मायया स्पृष्टा
ये चान्यद् असदाश्रिता
ये चान्यद् असदाश्रिता
भ्राम्यते दीर्न तद्वाक्यैर्
भ्राम्यते धीर्न तद्वाक्यैः
आत्मनि उत्पतात्मनो हरौ
आत्मनि उत्पतात्मनो हरौ
आत्मनि
Under
उक्तात्मनो हरौ
आत्मनि
उपतात्मनो.
उपतात्मनो हरौ. Under no circumstances can the words of persons bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls.
Yeah. So here Uddhava says that the intelligence of the devotee who is absorbed in Paramatma is not bewildered by the words of those touched by the Lord's Maya, or those who take shelter of a demoniac mentality. So this is about the devotees. Mataji, please, can you unmute? Sir, can you mute? Yeah. Priyamvada Mataji. Yeah. So it is talking, this year it is talking about, here you see, the devotees living in the material world suffer in separation from the Lord. So when these people interact with the materialistic people, they began to say so many philosophies. Yeah, Krishna is not Lord, Krishna is not this, not that, so many things. But a pure devotee, actually a true devotee, will never bewildered by such kind of argumentative philosophies. But they, on the other hand, being touched by Maya, they are completely bewildered. They do not understand the true nature of the Lord. So like that. So that we will see what it means. Those touched by Lord's Maya, the materialistic conditioned souls, thinking themselves learned, the Maya apaharta jnanis, and those who take shelter of evil mentality, completely different from the real consciousness, real conclusions of the Vedic literatures. The demons say that Lord Krishna gave up his body and went to Vaikuntha. They say that Lord Krishna is also one of the human beings like us, and since he lived a dharmic life, he left his mortal body and then he went to Vaikuntha. Because of his dharmic lifestyle, he went to Vaikuntha. Some say like that. They say that Krishna, along with his dynasty, was destroyed by the curse of a Brahmana. Because the Yadavas meddled with Brahmanas, the Brahmanas cursed Yadavas that they will die by killing each other with that mace which will be produced from the womb of that woman whom they dressed. So since he committed unjustified, and they say that Krishna along with his dynasty was destroyed by the curse of the Brahmana, since he committed unjust violence against great kings like Dhritarashtra and Jarasandha. So Krishna killed Jarasandha, what you can say, through some illegal means, through some cheating means. And Krishna also killed Dhritarashtra's 100 sons also some illegal means. So the demoniac philosophers who say all these things, they are actually touched by Maya. However, the intelligence of the devotee who has absorbed his mind in Paramatma is not bewildered by such critical words. Rather, he is absorbed in Krishna's sweetness. Those who are bewildered by such words deserve hell. So Lord Krishna also tells this in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text number 19, I think. Yomam evam asammudo janati purushottama. Sa sarvavid bhajanti mam Buddha bhavena bharata. Sarva bhavena bharata. So there, after telling about the different variety of living entities, Dvavimo Purusha Loka Akshara Chakshar Mivaja Akshara Sarvani Bhutani Kutastu Akshara Muchati Uttama Purushastu Anya Paramatma Te Udarata Yo Lokatre Mavisha Bibharti Abhya Ishvara. Then yes, Yasmakshara Matitoham Aksharada Pichottama Yo Lokatre Mavisha. No, not that. Pratita Purushottama. Yo loke vedecha pratita purushottama. So basically, it talks about there are conditioned souls. Superior to them are liberated souls. Superior to them is Brahman. Superior to Brahman is Paramatma. Superior to Paramatma is Bhagavan. And best among all the forms of Bhagavan is me. That's why the Puranas and Vedas glorify me as Purushottama. One who understands this, evam yo janati, evam yomam janati, Purusha, evam yomam asam modo. The asam moda means foolish. Sam moda means completely foolish. Asam moda is who is not at all foolish. And hence he understands the superlative position of Lord Krishna as Purushottama. Evam yomam asam modo janati Purushottamam. He who knows me as Purushottama. One who knows Krishna as Purushottama means they knows all others also who are subordinate to him. So knowing this, what happened? Sa Sarvavid. He who knows me as Purushottama, he knows everything else. Sarvavid. And hence, he will engage in my devotional service. Bhajanti Mam. How? Sarva Bhavena Bharata. In all respects, Manasa Vacha Karmana engages in devotional service. One who knows Lord Krishna as Purushottama. Same thing here. And such kind of asammuda person is never disturbed by the mudas or some mudas who have all these kinds of philosophies and argue with the devotees. Such kind of devotees never deviated or bewildered by such kind of wrong philosophies. So they are the most fortunate. And these wrong philosophers are all the most unfortunate people. So like that, Uddhava is telling about them. So that is like half knowledge. They say that because Lord Rama performed so wonderful activity, that's why he became Bhagavan. And Krishna somehow he went to Vaikuntha. Like this, people say all these things without understanding his transcendental position, true position. So like that. So he further continues. The view of the devotees is correct. What is the truth? The next verse answers. So when the Sammudas, when they propagate false philosophies, the devotee does not get disturbed by those false philosophies. Why? The devotee understands the right philosophy. So what is the right philosophy about Lord Krishna? That will be presented in the next verse. So please repeat after me. Pradarshaya tapta tapasam
Pradarshayatapta tapasam
avitrupta drishamrunam
avitripta dasham nradam
आदायांतरदाद्यस्तु
adhayantaradastastu yastu
स्वबिम्बं लोकलोचनम्.
swabimbam lokalochanam. Lord Sri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the earth, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him as he is due to not executing required penance.
The actual truth the devotees understand about the Lord is presented in this verse. What is that? The Lord, having shown his form, that means having appeared in the form of Rama, Krishna, Vamana, or other avatars, having shown his form freely to all the conditions of one and all. The center of attraction for all eyes. Whoever sees the Lord, their eyes becomes attracted to, hooked onto Lord Krishna. Then took that form and disappeared. He appeared, performed various pastimes for 125 years. People are attracted to Lord's beautiful form. Then Lord suddenly disappeared. From person who had not performed austerities, but had attained the Lord's mercy and were continually craving a vision of his form. So when Lord Krishna was personally present, not that everyone is a great devotee. Even there could be some innocent people also, but even they also had the good fortune of seeing the Lord. But by seeing the Lord, they are attracted to Lord's beautiful form. But in due course of time, before they are completely satisfied, Lord disappeared. That is the that is what Uddhava is stating in this. So what is the philosophical aspect in this? The Lord showing his form to men made them taste his sweetness, and ignoring the fact that their eyes were unsatisfied, took his form, covered it from their eyes, and suddenly disappeared. So he appeared and attracted all the people and disappeared. So this does not indicate that he gave up a material body. This philosophy does not indicate he gave up a material body, as the materialistic philosophers say. It is disgusted in this verse. Sorry, it is suggested in this verse that the Lord thought that those who are greedy for him, even without his disappearance, would taste his sweetness more profoundly by separation. It is this verse says that even when Lord Krishna was around, like Vrajavasis, Lord Krishna was there but not in Braja, he was in Dwaraka. The Vrajavasis were kind of separate from the Lord, but still out of greediness, they could experience Lord's presence even in separation by constantly thinking about the Supreme Lord. But this will make the Lord someone who takes back what he has given. So somebody may say that, okay, भगवान तो कभी कितना दिन में रह सकते, क्यों गायब हो गया again? Should have stayed for some more time. This is answered in the last line. Swamimbam Lokalochanam. For what purpose he did this? The eyes of all people are situated in him. He gave his form to men so that he could attract all their eyes, not to give them a spiritual benediction and then take it away like a thief. That the purpose of Lord coming here and showing his form is to attract us, not to stay back here. Actually, we are in a wrong place and we are expecting Lord to be in the wrong place. That is not good. So Lord comes here and shows himself and disappears so that hankering after the Lord, searching for the Lord, we should also go back home back to God. That is the intention. So it is called a Vyajasuti. Criticism acting as a praise for his attractive features. So externally we are criticizing, but actually we are praising Lord's wonderful activities. When Lord Krishna appeared on earth, he made everyone blind by attracting their eyes rather than protecting them. Bhagavad Gita says that Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyuddhan madharmasya tadatmanam turjamiham. So Lord comes here when paritranaya sadhuna vinajyatuttam. Lord comes here to protect his devotees, but he is doing opposite. What? He is coming here, he is showing his beautiful form. He attracted their eyes and disappeared suddenly, and they all became blind. The Vrajavas are the best example. He stayed there, performed first times for 11.5 years, then he left. He did not come back. They are crying, 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 crying for the rest of their life. What is this? Lord came for making us cry. Since the Lord has unlimited sweetness, what harm would it do him if he were to let everyone taste it for a long time? Why he did not stay in Vrindavan for a long time? Why did not stay in Dwarka for a few more 100 years? Why did he leave immediately? What would be the fault? Since he is the ocean of mercy, his disappearance creates misfortune for all people of this world. Why did you do like this? Somebody might question. The answer is Atapta Tapatam. They had not performed austerity, but they had attained his great mercy. Detachment from matter is not a cause of great attraction for the Lord. Here, the common audience, the common people of this world, even though they are not qualified to see the Lord, but still, out of his own causeless mercy, Lord appeared and made himself visible to all these people. Became visible to all these people. But having given a taste of Lord's transcendental beauty, Lord disappeared. So that they will hanker for Lord's association for more time. And hence, they will make an endeavor to come back to Godhead. That is the purpose of his mission in coming to this material world. When one sees the Lord after attaining great mercy, then one is never satisfied even by seeing him many times. So Ujjwala Nilamani says, Atrodite bhave jatu na triptir darsha nadishu. This is a symptom of the stage of sneha. Therefore, taking his form, he disappeared. So same way, the personalities like Rajavasis and Dwarkavasis, even though they are seeing Lord continuously, they will never be satisfied. That is a symptom of sneha. They always want to see the Lord. Avyartha kalpa means they do not want to spend even 1 second or 1 minute in other activities. They only want to be with the Lord for rest of eternity. Those people who have this kind of mentality only are qualified to come back to Godhead and be in the constant association of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, they have to continue their material existence. So in order to give them a taste of that, Lord appear, make himself available. This is the real understanding of the devotees. And by this statement, the idea that the Lord gave up his body is also defeated. Lord has no material body, then how will he give up? If Lord has a material body, how can he attract the eyes of the conditioned souls? That is not possible. In the following two verses also, the argument that Lord Krishna gave up a material form and assumed a spiritual form is repeated by the words describing his beautiful form. The phrases showing his form and disappearing also merely indicate that people cannot see the form. By our qualification, we cannot see the form. But Lord, as his own compassion, he revealed his form to the people who were there at that time. As well, the phrases, the Lord performed these actions by his will, defeats those who argue that Lord Krishna is dependent on karma. So Lord's appearance and Lord's disappearance are both according to his will. Sambhavami Atma Maya. And people of this world say that no, he is also like us. He is also a human being. He also takes birth and performs activities according to his karma. That will be defeated. The statements of Uddhava, rather than those of rather than the statements of those who are opposite to the Lord, should be taken as authoritative to defeat the ideas of the materialists presented in the previous verse. So we should accept the statements of Uddhava only, not the statements of the materialistic people who speak in the previous verse. Being touched by Maya, they speak so much unnecessary things that should not be considered as the truth. Statements like Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam should be taken as conclusive. Thus, Bhagavatam becomes full of flavor and pleasing for the listener. If we prepare our background based on the statement that they said that Krishna or Rama performed wonderful activities and hence they became Bhagavan and hence they went to Vaikuntha, that should not be the background. Our background should be Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam and then start reading Bhagavatam. Then Bhagavatam becomes a blissful activity. So it is like that. This is how Lord Krishna's transcendental nature has been indicated in this verse, and next two verses also glorify his transcendental nature to establish further and further his glorious position. And these verses talk about his true position. Yenmartalilau paikam swayoga
Yanmatyalilau payukutum swalayoga
maya balam darshayata gruhitam
Maya balam darshayata gruhitam
vismapanam swasya cha saubagarde
Vismapanam swasya cha saubagarde
param padam bhushana bhushanangam.
Param padam bhushana bhushanangam. The Lord appeared in the material world by his internal potency, Yogamaya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulences, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his Lord Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments.
So here it is said that Lord Krishna possesses that form suitable for human pastimes to show the full capacity of his Yogamaya. That form astonishes even the Lord of Vaikuntha. It is the principle of auspicious qualities and enhances the beauty of his ornaments. So Lord's form is like the human form only, but it is the topmost extent of Yogamaya potency. It is suitable to perform all his sweet pastimes. It is even astonishes the form of Vaikuntha. So that is indicated in this verse, and it will be indicated in the next verse also. When he made his form disappear, did he go to Vaikuntha? Somebody might question. How could he take that form suitable for human pastimes to Vaikuntha? Martya Leela Upaikam. Abhi, if the Lord has a human form, how did he go to Vaikuntha with the same form? If the Lord's form is not like our material form like us, so you cannot say that he has gone to Vaikuntha with the same form. ऐसे हो सकता है? This means that even now, as previously, he is residing in Dwaraka. But one should not think that the Lord has some fault because he has human pastimes. On the contrary, the human pastimes are superior to the pastimes of Vaikuntha. Lord Krishna did not go to Vaikuntha, nor Lord Krishna had a Vaikuntha form. Lord Krishna form is like the human form. He remains in Dwaraka only. He continues to perform Dwaraka pastimes only. But Dwaraka pastimes, the human like Dwaraka pastimes are much superior to the pastimes of Vaikuntha. That is indicated in this verse. He accepted a form suitable for human pastimes in order to show the full capacity of his Yogamaya, his spiritual energy arising from his own Swarupa. He does not establish this form by hiding sweetness or power, but by depositing all his powers in this human form. Such capacity is not displayed even in Vaikuntha. So here, later on in 10th canto, it goes into more details. So Lord Krishna's form is not inferior to the form of Narayana's form. So one may say that Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he appeared in this world in the form of Krishna and performed even pastimes. It is not like that. Lord Krishna's form is transcendentally situated. It is eternal. And his pastimes are superior to the pastimes of Narayana's pastimes, the pastimes of Vaikuntha. So that's how Lord's transcendental position is getting established. Though it is said that the Lord accepted this form, his form is inseparable from himself. No time of accepting that form is indicated. So somebody may say that, okay, Lord has accepted Krishna's form, Narayana accepted Krishna's form and appeared in this world performed pastimes. But it is not like that. He is accepting his form means he revealed that form. It is not that he does not have it, so he took it from somebody else. It is not like that. He already has, he revealed for 125 years. So in the following statement, Grihita is used in a similar way. Actually, Maya eternally accepts the gunas. So this verse, you already read it, second canto, 5th chapter. Sattvam rajas tamayiti nirgunasya gunatraya sthiti sarga nirodeshu grihita maya vibho. It is said that the three gunas of sattva, rajas, tama belonging to the Supreme Lord, who is without gunas, who is nirguna, are accepted by Maya, who is Lord's external energy, Bhairanga Shakti, of the Lord of creation, maintenance, and destruction. Lord is the one who does creation, maintenance, and destruction through the via medium of his external energy, Maya, who accepts the three gunas, which are belonging to the Lord only, who has no gunas. So, like that. Intelligence makes distinctions in the Lord, even though the Lord cannot be distinguished. One second. I will just read this line, then we will see your question. Intelligence makes distinction in the Lord, even though the Lord cannot be distinguished in parts. Thus, Grihita simply means he revealed, according to Bhagavad Sandarbha. Grihita does not mean that okay, something is lying there, he accepted it and he performed activities with that. It is not like that. Lord eternally as his forms, time to time he reveals and he covers. So Grihita meaning should be taken in that context in relation to Supreme Lord. So when Lord Krishna says that Sambhavami Atmamaya, like Arjuna asked the question in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, how can he understand that both of us born together and you spoke Bhagavad Gita to sun god long back? Kaise ho sakta hai? Then Krishna says that both you and me appeared multiple times in a different forms. So at that time I spoke Bhagavad Gita to sun god in a different form. You are also there next to me, but you forgot everything I remember. Because you take birth according to karma, I take birth according to my Yogamaya. Sambhavami Atmaya. So Lord taking birth is only just, he has all the forms with him. He only reveals the form, one of the form when it is required to be revealed. So this concept we will get to know in the 15th verse. Next week when we discuss 15th verse, that time we will understand how when Lord Krishna appears, all the forms are there within him only. And now time and again he reveals one form as per the need of the hour and he hides all other forms. That concept we elaborately discuss in the 15th verse next week, that time. So, yes, Mata, you are saying something?
Prabhuji, you said that material energy accepts the three gunas. No, can you just repeat that line once again?
It is said that nothing belongs to anyone else. Everything belongs to Lord only. It is the Lord who does not have any gunas, but he has the gunas as his energies. So for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, he empowers Maya to perform all these activities through three gunas. By accepting those three gunas, which belongs to the Lord. So Maya performs creation, maintenance, and annihilation.
Belong to the Lord, but Maya accepts it for the purpose of creation.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is what is indicated there.
Although Lord is untouched by those gunas himself.
Okay. So Nirgunasya Gunatraya. Nirgunasya means the Lord who has no gunas has these three gunas as his energies. These three gunas are three external energies of the Lord. So for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, he empowers Maya to take these three gunas and perform those activities on behalf of the Supreme Lord. So like that. Or in order to show that human form, the Lord accepted the strength of his Yogamaya for accomplishing pastimes such as marrying 16,000 queens, which would astonish even Lord Krishna's expansion, the Lord of Vaikuntha. There are some pastimes of the Lord which astonish even the Lord of Vaikuntha, Narayan. One such pastimes is Lord Krishna marrying 16,100 queens at one go in different palaces. So like that. So then again there is a question. This human form with such qualities astonishes even me. What to speak of astonishing the associates of the Lord in Vaikuntha, who can see all the forms and qualities of the different avatars. So he says that even that form astonishes me, then what to speak of that form astonishing the Vaikuntha Vasis? Everyone gets astonished. This form is the supreme position, Parampadam, of complete auspiciousness. Saubhagarde. The form of Lord Krishna is the supreme position, the supreme form of complete auspiciousness. Even the Lord of Vaikuntha desires to see this form. The 10th canto, 18th chapter, the pastime comes. Dijatmadaye yuvayor didurkshana mayopanita bhuvi dharma guptaye. I have brought the Brahmana sons here because I wanted to see the two of you, Krishna and Arjuna, who have descended to the earth to save the principles of religion. Even Mahavishnu got attracted to Lord Krishna's form with the purpose of having darshan of Lord Krishna. Mahavishnu stole the sons of the Dwaraka Brahmana. So thus, his limbs are ornaments of the ornaments. Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam. This indicates Krishna's supreme beauty. Generally, we wear abhushan so that we can enhance our beauty. But Lord Krishna, by wearing the abhushan, enhances the beauty of the abhushan. Is the beauty for the beautiful ornaments. So that is the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna. So like this, there are many more. All the way up to text number 24, all these philosophical truths about Lord Krishna's transcendental position are presented by Uddhava. And for 25th verse onwards, he starts speaking about Lord's sweet pastimes in Vrindavan, Madhura, Dwaraka in the upcoming chapters. So we'll continue in the next class from 13th verse onwards. 13th and 12th are same. But in the 13th verse, he said that, so my dear Vidura, you also had an experience of that farm. When Yudhishthira Maharaj performed Rajasuya sacrifice, all the Devatas, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, all the way up to Brahma, Shiva, everyone were completely attracted and they became Mugdha. Matlab, they are stunned looking at the transcendental beauty of Lord Krishna. So they could see the transcendental beauty of Lord Krishna for a long time during the Rajasuya sacrifice. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj invited them, everyone came and Lord Krishna was given Argya Puja and all those things. So that pastime will be mentioned in the next verse. We will discuss that in the next class when we meet. Okay, it's already 1 o'clock. So any questions finally?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Like here it is said that the pastor marrying 16,000 queens is even astonishes the Lord of Vaikuntha. Like I didn't understood this line. Can you
So how
please-
many wives Lord of Vaikuntha has?
One miss.
So we don't know. One or many also. But Lord Krishna, see, at one go is marrying 16,100 wives. It is not that, okay, today one marriage, after 1 month, one marriage, after 1 month, that is the usual practice. Even Lord Narayan also never married so many wives at one go. So Lord Krishna did it. And how he did it? Every palace marriage is happening and all the Dwaraka Vasis are there in every marriage. None of them missed Lord Krishna's any marriage. Is it not astonishing?
Yes, but
Ah.
is it something that Vaikuntha cannot do? Like you can also expand into 16,000 or many forms.
There is no reference that Lord Narayan did like that. अभी तक कोई किया नहीं, कुछ अवतार किया नहीं ऐसा. कोई अवतार किया क्या ऐसा अभी तक?
नहीं.
That's why Lord of Vaikuntha getting astonished.
Okay. And this analogy, like it said, the Lord is the ornament of the ornament. Is it applicable only to Krishna or like Narayan also? Like because Narayan also is very beautiful.
But Krishna's beauty is much transcendental to Narayana's beauty. That's what Rupa Goswami states in the Bhakti Rasamrindhu. The one of the 4 qualities which do not exist in Narayana are Rupa Madhuri, the transcendental beauty of Lord Krishna.
But it is said that when Dhruv Maharaj saw the Lord, he was like speechless, like he didn't.
It's okay, Prabhuji. From our point of view, Lord Narayana's beauty is crores of times better. But with respect to Lord Narayana, Lord Krishna's beauty is still further better. We don't have any imagination also to imagine what it is. So when you compare, I mean, in the sense, 1 trillion with the 10 trillions. For us, 1 trillion also big only, 10 trillion also big only. So what comparison we understand? Trillion itself is very big for us. So it is like that.
Okay. So, like Narayan, Lord Narayan can also be called as the ornament of the ornament.
Yes, Prabhu, he can also be called as ornament, but in comparison to Narayana and Krishna, here Krishna's beauty is glorified. Lord Narayana is also getting attracted to Krishna's beauty. Then will it be superior or inferior?
Superior.
Then what is the problem?
Yeah.
A beautiful person cannot be attracted to another beautiful person who is more beautiful than him.
Yes,
Are you getting?
cannot. Yeah.
So simple like that only.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other devotees have any question? If there are no questions, we'll stop for today.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dhanavad Prabhu.